So I wanted to move on, but this fat czar, Virgie Tovar, is on one hell of a run. She's all over Twitter and sitting for weird podcast appearances. Last night, she's a liberal darling and seems to be enjoying every single minute of it. A quick reminder here, folks. Virgie Tovar was hired by the San Francisco Health Department. So I want you to listen to her opinion on the importance of individual health.
Where do you see the intersection? Really, what is your definition of health?
Yeah, that's really complicated, right? I think I want to talk about that question, but I want to start by saying that, no one has to be healthy. No, right? Like, I mean, it's like, no, like there is no governing body that's like out there putting, you know what I mean? It's like no one owes anybody that in either the traditional sense of the word or any other more innovative or, more politicized, maybe even version of that word. So
she says nobody has to be healthy, and then the other clown, the podcast host, whoever, he's like, he's agreeing with her. That's an actual, nobody has to be healthy. That's an actual quote from the newest employee of the San Francisco Health Department. Nobody has to be healthy, the health department. Anyone see anything wrong with this besides me? I did some digging on our new friend Virgie and found out a bit about her. About her past. To land a position like fat positivity czar, you surely have to have quite the resume. Her written works include, quote, "You have the right to remain fat," something that seems more like a mockery than an actual book. She's a contributor at Forbes, where she covers the plus-size market, if you can believe that. Her recent articles cover a, quote, plus-size Thanksgiving and fat phobia in TV shows. In July, Tovar posted that she conducted a weight bias training for unidentified government workers, sharing 4 tips she taught to help decrease, quote, this is her words, stigma around food and bodies at work. The New York Post claims that she conducted a weight bias training for government workers. I'm sure that was everyone's favorite day at the office. Our tax dollars are being paid for Virgie Tovar to lecture lazy government employees on being nice to fat people. It gets worse. Tovar offers DEI corporate trainings per her website, which lists the Seattle Transit Agency, UC Berkeley, obviously, and other notable companies as former clients. She, according to her own website, offers DEI training for companies. Of course, she does. I'm all about bringing you guys the truth. So ready for this one? Virgie Tovar is everything that is wrong with the United States of America in 2024. Obesity is a disease, according to the World Health Organization, which is way more important than the worthless San Francisco DEI Health Department. Obesity has reached epidemic proportions globally, with at least 2.8 million people dying each year as a result of being overweight or obese. You hear what I said? Almost 3 million people die every single year from obesity. Yet this woman is making money off glamorizing it. She's monetizing and promoting her own lifestyle choices, whatever. You want to be fat, be fat. I don't care what you eat. I don't care what you dress. I don't care who you sleep with. But number one, don't do it with children. Absolutely stay away from children. Don't push this on kids. And number 2, let's not have government paying for obesity training, being nice to obese people training. That's not our lifestyle choice. It's yours. A decision to be obese, which will undoubtedly decrease her life expectancy, and she promotes it. And all of the liberal airheads, well, they're ready to build her statues for doing so. Normalizing obesity is downright dangerous. I understand it can be extremely difficult to deal with being overweight, but if that is something you struggle with, keep it to yourself. The last thing we need is to be pushing this as some sort of positive lifestyle, because it is not. You don't have to make fun of obese people. Don't. But let's not push this as a positive lifestyle. It's killing kids. The obese, 40% of Americans are obese. 40% of Americans are obese. Our children are obese at the highest rate ever. That causes a lot of disease. It's a major struggle that people spend their entire lives working to overcome. Why? Because if they don't, they're going to die or they're going to get sick. So let's not say it's okay to be obese. Unless you understand the negative outcomes that happen when you're obese. Do that, then it's fine. But let's not just say everyone we should embrace obesity. We should not. Our healthcare system can't handle it. We're obese in 44 out of 10 people are obese in America. It's an epidemic. It's a pandemic. It's a global epidemic. All right, off my high horse. In other news, after 28 years, Neil Cavuto is leaving Fox News. You heard that right. Neil Cavuto. By the way, this guy, he hates Trump. I have to ask, is this because Trump is about to get sworn in as the president for next, and he had such a bad time with Trump for the first 4 years? Maybe. I mean, the guy's a workhorse. He does 5 days a week, an hour on Fox News. He does 5 days a week, 2 hours on Fox Business. That's 15 hours a week. And then, just for good measure, he comes in on Saturday and does 2 hours. Maybe the powers that be at Fox said, listen, Neil, you're great. You've been here since day one. I think he's the only one that's been there since day one. I think Hannity may have been, but I'm not sure. But maybe they're like, hey, Neil, maybe we should tone you back a little bit because they know Trump's coming in. They don't want Neil Cavuto, which, by the way, was the lowest rated show on the network. It was the lowest rated show on the network, certainly after noon. Outnumbered did well. It dropped a little bit from 2 to 4. 3 o'clock did okay, but Neil got crushed. Brett did better after, and then the primetime does great. So maybe it was them saying, Fox said, you know what, Neil, maybe we're going to scale back your hours a little bit. And he said, you know what, I'm done. He probably doesn't want to deal with Trump anyway either because Trump will eviscerate him again like he did the first time around. Anyway, 28 years. Listen, I don't particularly love Neil Cavuto. I worked with him and for him alongside him. I don't think he's the nicest guy in the world, but hats off to a guy who can put 28 years in and go out doing 17 hours of TV per week. That is kind of legendary anyway. All right, folks. Yesterday, this one, Rand Paul floated a really interesting idea. Rand Paul, the senator, junior senator right now, because Mitch McConnell is still alive, junior senator from Kentucky, floated the idea of naming Elon Musk as the possible next Speaker of the House, claiming it would disrupt the swamp more than anything else. I don't disagree. Could you imagine the rage from across the aisle? I'm loving the rage that they're experiencing right now, talking heads and Democrats, but Elon Musk represents everything that the left despises. He stands for free speech. He's made $400 billion on his own merit. They don't like that. They like the government handouts. He is public enemy number one in the mind of a Democrat. Besides, it's about to be 2025. America is as non-traditional as it's ever been. Some of society's new advancements are phenomenal. Maybe an unconventional speaker would be a good thing, too. The modern Republican Party is constantly advancing thanks to Donald Trump's progressive way of thinking. When I say progressive there, I mean forethought. I mean thinking down, seeing the picture, seeing the playing field down the road, seeing the game before it's actually even started. That kind of progressive, not the left progressive, nut job, DEI, blue hair wokeness. That's a different type of progressive. And as for the Democrats, they prefer to run the same lunatics out every single election cycle, but with slightly more radical talking points. I'll give you proof in a second, but I just want to say the Speaker of the House doesn't have to be a member of Congress. The Speaker of the House could literally be everything. In fact, we were trying to push for Donald Trump to be the Speaker of the House before Mike Johnson got that when Kevin McCarthy was pushed out by Matt Gaetz, our friend. Anyway, you want some more proof? The Democrats' bench is so thin, people are actually advocating for Kamala Harris to run for president again in 2028. Now, let me tell you something. After a miserable, failing twice, miserably here in 2024, this ridiculous political cult can't produce even one better candidate than Kamala Harris. Kamala, Cammy as we call her, running again in 2028 would be an absolute gift to America. She would basically lock in likely another 8 years of Republican leadership. 8 years. Whoever the Republican is, not going to be Trump. He's term limited, I think. So whoever it is, Vance, DeSantis, 8 more years. Hopefully, once that's complete, America will look somewhat normal again.